Good evening and welcome back. Hopefully you can hear me. This has been working perfectly for the last couple of weeks and retrograde. It's about moon signs, one of my favorite things to talk about. So I'm looking forward to delving into the subject. So before I get into it, if you can just give me a little bit of a hey, yeah. I know you're there. So just waiting for all of our technologies to kick in so that I can see you all. Hi! Yay! Yay! Okay, we are back in business. We beat it. So let's get started. Do let me know if it echoes or anything like that. Hopefully I've turned off. Thank you. Oh, great, Tamika. So it's going to be a great night. Yes, we're back. So let's get stuck into moon signs. A few of you have commented on the post that I put up a couple of days ago about tonight's show. If you haven't already found out your moon sign, there was a link in the first post that I put up about the moon signs that you could go on there and find out your moon sign. Or after tonight's show, fantastic opportunity to go on there. Even if you just get into the Google and just put moon sign calculator, there's dozens of sites that you can go on. They're free just to find out your moon sign. They will ask you, obviously, your time of birth, your place of birth. If you don't know the time, even if you just know AM or PM, and if you don't know that, they will still give you, you just put unknown, they will still give you the best they can, your moon sign. Now, they do change, and we're going to talk about that. So we're going to start with this subject way back at the beginning. So we're going to talk about some of the things that some of you may already know, but at least this way we're all on the same page when we start talking about the types, traits of each moon sign. So obviously we have, and I'm just going to talk a lot tonight about the sun and the moon sign. Okay, so the sun sign, okay, we think about that. So I'm an Aries. I'm going to use myself as an example because it's a good example. Oh, Libra. Oh, that's interesting. So your sun sign for Aries is, that month of sort of March going into April 21st to 21st, I think. That's when the sun for that whole month is in Aries. And it takes a month for that sun to go all the way through that sign. So we know anyone born during that period gets the sun sign Aries. And that's the same with all of the astrology signs. So why is your moon sign different? Well, you can put two Aries together, two Aries sun signs together, and you'll meet them and be like, gee, even though they share the same sun sign, they're quite different. Or maybe you've met someone with the same star sign as you, sun sign, and you go, gee, we're not really the same. And that's because our moon sign is what can make us quite unique. It can define, I guess, us a little bit more. So what we're looking at is the sun sign being that 30 days in that month, and then your moon sign. Now, the moon changes signs. So in that month of Aries, the moon changes every 2.5 days into a different sign. So that's why I'm an Aries with a Leo moon. I know James put up, and we're going to have a chat about that. He's got that Gemini sun, and then he's got that Capricorn moon. Okay, so James might meet another Gemini and go, gee, there's a couple of things here that we aren't similar about, or we react differently. And that's because that moon sign comes into play. And that's why things can be different. Also, as I mentioned, I'm an Aries sun. Okay, so when I'm out in the world, it's a good way of thinking about it. When you're out in the sunshine, okay, that's what I represent. I represent an Aries. I quite often act like an Aries. People quite often can see me being an Aries, even though that's to do with the rising sign, and we'll talk about that another week. But that's how I present to the world when I'm out in the daylight, or just out in the world looking as that Aries sun. But my moon is in Leo, and hopefully you're all going to find out what your moon is. And so with me, your moon sign is you behind closed doors. It's you in relationships. It's about how you emotionally react to things. It's about not your weaknesses, but maybe your challenges that you have. So we can have conflict between our moon and our sun sign. All right, and I can see here James is going to have some conflict between his. I know, Rachel, you also popped up that you have the Leo sun and the Pisces moon. Also, Angela, you popped up yours as well, and we're going to have a chat about that. So understanding that your sun sign, how you present, your moon sign, you behind closed doors, you in relationships. So here's an example. Being an Aries, okay, so my sun sign. So if you're all looking at your sun sign right now, how I present to the world, very confident, someone who is capable. You know, I'm full of energy. I'm a ball of fire. Let's go and do it. I don't care about anyone. Aries are really good at, you can all just piss off and I'll do my own thing and I don't need anybody and all of those things. That's how I present. Very independent. Aries are very childlike, not childish. Okay, so, you know, that's how I present. But I couldn't understand why when I was in relationships that I often didn't have that confidence. I didn't have that kind of, you know, F you and I'm just going to move on and I don't care. I struggled with that. And that's what led me to find out about my moon sign. And it's a Leo. So when we're looking at our moon sign, I'm looking at Leo and I'm looking at maybe some of the struggles Leos have, because that's what I'm taking on board with the moon sign. Okay, that's where it's coming from. So when we talk about Leos and we talk about sometimes about some of the traits Leos can have, they can often care too much about what other people think about them, or they want to be liked. A Leo doesn't want to be king because he was given the crown. He wants to be king because his people like him. Okay, so it's that same thing. So in relationships, I become very vulnerable. I care too much about what people think. I try and be that pleaser, which is very in conflict sometimes with my Aries sun. And that's what can happen with your moon sign. It also, when you're going into a relationship with somebody and you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, my sun sign's Aries. So if their sun sign is Leo or their sun sign is Pisces, I'm going to look at their compatibility. That's good to look at. However, we're looking at each other in a relationship behind closed doors. So I want to then have a look at that person that I'm seeing or the person I'm having that relationship with. It can be a friend, it can be your boss, it can be, you know, your neighbor, whatever kind of relationship that is. What is their moon sign? Because when they walk away from your conversation, when they go home, when they go inwards, when they become who they are behind closed doors, they're going to be their moon sign. So quite often when we're looking at relationships, we need to see how the moon signs come into compatibility if they conflict. So what we can have sometimes, just turn my speaker down, is conflict there. We can have inner conflict. I'm going to use James for an example in a moment, and I hope, James, you don't mind, as my first example of moon signs. So actually, that's where the conflict can come from. How can I explain it? Okay, James, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to run with this. So James has that wonderful Gemini sun. So when James is presenting to the world, you know, he's very entertaining, he's fun, he's that air sign, he's lovable, you know, he's got heaps of ambition. You know, there's two sides to James. That's what a Gemini is. They're the twins, both of you, you know. He's got all of that conflict going on already because he's the Gemini. Okay, but very entertaining and great and loves people and people love Geminis. But then he has that Capricorn moon. So when he goes behind closed doors, when he goes internally, when we're going inwards, when we're seeing ourselves in any form of relationships, interacting with people, his Capricorn's going to come out. And we know with a Capricorn, we're looking at, you know, they want to be reliable. They take on responsibility maybe too much. They feel like they're responsible for everything. They can be a little bit repressed. They want to make that logical choice. But his Gemini wants to make the emotional choice. The Gemini doesn't want to be locked down to anything. It's an air sign. But his Capricorn moon wants to be that goat standing on the side of that cliff who could be stubborn, who says, you know, a Gemini can change their mind at the drop of a hat because there's two of them, but his Capricorn moon's not going to like that. It's going to frustrate him. So he can have that inner conflict where his Gemini, who wants to take over the world and be amazing, can have conflict with that Capricorn moon who's going, be responsible. Are you doing enough? You know, can hold back, can hold emotions back. Often Capricorns in relationships will often test people, or they'll wait that, you know, you've got to kind of prove yourself because a Capricorn's not going to put energy into something that they can't see moving forward. So it's that same thing. So James is going to have that conflict. All right. And it's the same as, and I know I'm using myself as the example a lot tonight, but again, it's the best form because I know I'm speaking the truth, is my Aries wants to do really well. I want everyone to love me. I'm childlike. I want to go out and have a good time, and I want to play in the puddles, and I want to do all those things. But my Leo also wants to be liked. So I'm a very competitive person, which I know you all understand, but not competitive because I want to beat you. Competitive because I want to do my best, because I want you to like me. All right. So there's that conflict. So quite often you're going to see that conflict within yourself, but also with others. Like I said, when you're dating someone, whether it be a relationship with your boss or it be as in a work relationship, I know there's others. But whether it's, even with your children, I've looked at my children and gone, one of my daughters, she's a Taurus and she's got that Capricorn moon. So she's not, now we look at the elements. She is double earth. So you know it. She's going to be too grounded. She's sometimes going to be too practical and forget to have fun. Hey, Zoe. So watching that go through. Hey, Angela. I actually would like to talk about yours. Now, I hope that's okay because you have a very interesting set here. Angela has a Cancer in Sun, and I think your moon was Gemini, if I've got that right. Cancer, loving, home, family, being loyal, and, that crab, you're only going to come out, when crabs hold on to things, they're very, very loyal. You don't need a hook to catch a crab. It will hold on to the bait and never let go. Crabs will lose claws before they let go of something. So there's that loyalty to your family and the people you love. But then again, we have a Gemini moon. So that Gemini moon for you in two minds. It's like when you get home, you're like, am I doing the right thing? Am I a good enough parent? Am I a good enough partner? Have I got this right? That Gemini mind jumping around when that Cancerian moon just wants to get the job. Sorry, that Cancerian sun just wants to get the job done. So here we face that conflict between our moon and our sun signs. Is this making sense? Aquarius rising. We're going to have a look at, I think rising signs is a whole other show, and we can slowly over time start working through this astrology so that people who want to get into it, I think this is a great way to spark that interest. I think when looking at astrology at first or doing an astrology course, it's a little overwhelming. There's houses and planets and degrees and all these different things, and this is, I think, a good way to get started. And also know your sun sign, the one that you read in the newspaper, isn't all that you are. Okay, most of us have all the planets. We have all the signs within our chart. They're just in different placements. We can have a look at our Venus, and of course, the link that I put up, and I can put it up again on the title of this video once it goes up. Cafe Astrology is fantastic. You can actually do your chart there and it will show you down the side. Even if you can't understand the chart, it'll just say, Venus in Pisces, rising, moon, Neptune. Like, it'll give you all of them. And once you know those, they're really handy. So I think, not just going into things going, what's your sun sign? I think what's an interesting question now is, what's your moon sign? And you having that better understanding of self. One of my Bibles when it comes to astrology is a book that's been around for so many years. And if you are someone that regularly goes to thrift shops or the Lifeline Book Fest, or you can just with this Gemini and Cancer, that sun and moon, that sun in Cancer, that Gemini, and you were looking it up on Google. I noticed you put that in the comments. I knew you were going to have a lot to read that night, and your Gemini mind battling, overthinking it. When it comes to love signs, so like I said, what's a good example if you're going into a relationship? What you really want is one person's moon sign to match the other person's sun sign. All right? So that kind of makes sense. So, and that doesn't mean it has to be that way, because like we talked about, all the other planets kind of matter. So I'm an Aries sun with a Leo moon. So if I was to date someone who was a Leo, even though they're not going to take on the negative because Leo is their sun sign, they're going to understand my shadows and they're going to understand my weaknesses because they are a Leo and can have empathy with my moon sign, me behind closed doors. Okay, so when I say to someone who maybe is a Leo and I go, oh my God, the fact that I'm not winning that or I want to be first is driving me nuts, the Leo will understand that's not my ego because I think I'm the best. That's because I want to be loved and picked by everybody. Don't leave me behind. I'll do everything that I can. And they have empathy for that. So quite often it's a good way to look at if you can have that person where your sun and their moon kind of match, or vice versa. It can be handy, but of course those two moons can clash as well. So don't just look at the sun signs when you're going into relationships. Look and see how the moon signs works, because that's what they're going to think when they get home. That's what they're going to be running through their head. Okay, is their moon thoughts, their shadow side. It is also helpful for yourself when you're going into different things about, okay, my Aries, my sun sign is going to love this part of doing that, but my Leo moon, she probably needs a bit of Valium and she'll be fine and she'll get through it. A little bit of vomit, everything's okay. So it's the idea of I had to first acknowledge this conflict that I had inside and then learn how I could make these guys work together, because that's the secret. You can't change your sun sign and you can't change your moon sign, unfortunately. However, you can get them to work together once you understand the conflict. Where do you put the Band-Aid if you don't know where the bleeding is? And that's why have a look. You can even type into Google anything. So James could type in male with Gemini sun and moon in Capricorn, and it's going to bring you a shit ton of information that you can read to help you understand yourself. But what about your kids, your partners, your friends? If you type the same thing in, if you can find out what their moon sign is, you're going to understand them better. You're going to be able to see what your kids' weaknesses are. You're going to be able to see what they're struggling with, where their conflict might come in, and that's going to give us a better understanding. Also, looking for jobs and things like that. I shouldn't just look for the jobs that would be suitable for an Aries. I should probably keep my eye on the jobs that are suitable for a Leo as well, because those two things are coming together. So let's get, I'm so busy talking that I completely missed the messages. You know that. You're going to do that, do it. It's so useful. I'll tell you something else while I'm here. There is a book that I highly recommend. If you have children at any age, because they're difficult at any age, this is a fantastic book. I don't know if you can see it. It looks a bit scary. It's called Star Parenting. It is by Shirney Dolby. Yeah, just go by the title. I speak a little bit English. This is a great book because you can go through it and it'll say to you, Aries mother with Taurus daughter, Pisces mother with Capricorn sun, and it helps explain where those differences are going to be, what we need to do to be able to work better in that relationship and have an understanding of each other. Again, even if you can't get hold of this book, I'm pretty sure if you pop it in the Google, it's going to give you a heap of information where you can start learning about it. Yeah, it's a great book. But one of my other, we're going to have to do a few shows on astrology because I've got so much to share with you guys that I learned along my journey where I was like, man, I wish someone had told me it was that simple to figure that shit out ages ago. And that's me. If there's a cheat sheet, I'm going to use it. This is here when it comes to love signs. And like I said, this next book, one of my absolute favorites, and if you can get a first print, it's probably worth a little something. But this is this one here, and this is by Linda Goodman. This is Love Signs. Amazing when it comes to when you're looking at couples together, Taurus and Pisces. Wonderful way of explaining. Great to get your partners to read, just so they understand how the two of you come together. But I highly recommend these books. This is this beautiful lady here. They are a little bit older, but like I said, if you go to thrift shops or you go to like Lifeline or anything like that, good chance you'll pick them up. I often see a few coffees at the Lifeline Book Fest when they are on. Yeah, Katie, it's very, and even if it's not compatible, or the person that you're seeing, or the person that's come into your world, even if they're not compatible technically, what you can do is go, okay, what are we working with? And how can we make the most of that? And how can we have understanding for each other? because the sun sign's much easier to categorize people, because anyone born in that month and anyone born during those 30 days is the same sun sign. But that moon sign being particular. Let me just chase through some of these comments for a second. Yeah, so match moon to a sun sign, because there's going to be understanding. If you both have the same moon sign, we're also going to understand each other very, very well. But then we're kind of going to have to really deal with the whole idea of the yin and yang. I think in a relationship, you need to have that. You can't put two of the same magnets together. They repel. All right, you've got to have those opposites, but you've got to understand and see what that person brings, what you bring, how we can work with it, what ingredients have we got. And I think star signs, it's just a great way to communicate and understand each other without having to profile each other. But it is a good thing to have a look at. Yeah, that's such a good book. Some of the older astrology books I love. I have so many astrology books. I absolutely love them. Well, I like astrology. There's only a few things I actually pay a lot of attention to. Everything else I kind of take with a pinch of salt, and that is every time Mercury retrograde comes up, I put my helmet on and get ready for it. This year we've got 4 instead of, normally we only have 3, but we have 4 this year. So it sneaks itself in. I think our last retrograde is the 29th of December. And moon signs. I often, when I first meet someone, I'd be like, do you know your moon sign? Yes, I'm that person. Because to me, that's who they are. That's their vulnerabilities. Let's see what I'm really dealing with. Because I'm going to present as that Aries. I'm going to, I do it on the radio on a Friday morning. I walk into that station like I've totally got this. I'm all over it, even though I could quietly vomit and I'm shaking and I can barely push the buttons. My anxiety is really high because I'm really worried about, am I going to do a great job? Because my Leo moon is like, hang on, I'm presenting to the people today. I need the village to like me. But I look super confident, so a bit like that duck, But it is very interesting. Katie Maxwell, Taurus. Yeah. Yeah, dig it out. They're good books. Just going to scroll back up for a second. One second. All right. So, questions about moon signs. I think I might have spoken too quickly. However, I'm hoping that I'm making some sense. Or if you do want to throw up quickly, if you know your sun and moon, I'll give you a quick little rundown of what I think you might do well with and what you might actually struggle with inner conflict. I found a really good quote too before I forget. Remember to send me your quotes. I love quotes. I'm just waiting. So the quote that I found that I loved was, being negative only makes a difficult journey more difficult. You may be given a cactus, but you don't have to sit on it. I thought that was great. All right, so just having a quick look here. So, Delia, you have the Gemini. Oh, both you and Zoe have the Gemini sun. So, of course, out to the world, you're going to have that wonderful, entertaining energy. You're going to be vibrant. You're going to be that air sign. There's going to be maybe 2 versions of you. So, sometimes we can have that mental conflict, great with entertainment. People fall in love with Geminis. But then when we're going home, I think, Delia, you've got that Virgo. Okay, so good example. When you're at work, you're like, oh my God, people love you. You can sell well, you can communicate well, you're very entertaining. But then you go home and you close the door and you become the Virgo. You're going to overanalyze everything. You're going to sit there. You want to fight for the underdog. You want things to be fair. Okay, and if someone is not treating you fairly or someone is doing you wrong, that's when it'll really annoy you and keep you, awake at night, because your Virgo moon wants to get that equation. It wants to make it right. It wants it to be fair. All right, and that's where those 2 can come into conflict. Because a Gemini would normally just, as the wind, move on and keep going, that air sign. And Zoe, I think you said you had the Leo moon. So you're the same as me. Very, very interesting, because Leo moons are known for being the entertainers, for being the people that are very intuitive. We don't mind being in the spotlight, but just being careful as well. We can be a little bit moody because we do have that fire in us. So coming home, sometimes we're in a mood. We best just go home, leave us alone. You don't poke a pissed off lion. You just let it sleep and eat and do its thing. But we can care too much, like I mentioned before, that Leo moon, about what other people think, and we don't present that way, but can very much be going on. And also secretly behind closed doors, we know we're the queen. So you want to sit beside us, you better bring a throne and a crown, because we only sit with royalty. Sounds a little bit snobby, but it's actually not. It's to do with, I guess, we want to have that equal. We're going to treat you like royalty, so therefore you need to behave like it. But interesting. Quite interesting, especially with that Gemini. So an air sign, you've got an air sign sun and a fire moon. So when you breathe on a fire, when you add air to a fire, it just gets bigger. So you're going to have that conflict there going on between the two. Oh, Sharon, you've got your sun sign in Gemini and your Cancer in your moon in Cancer. So again, sun sign, Gemini, people love you. You've got all that air energy, you're entertaining, you love. Geminis can move on quite quickly from things as well, but we love a Gemini because we're going to present well. But do watch that Cancer moon, okay? Because that Cancer moon there, yes, you're very nurturing and you need to be nurtured. You're quite sensitive. We can be a little bit clingy, and maybe a little bit moody. And one of the things having that Cancer moon is when you do get upset or you do feel like you need time, you will pull back into your shell and no one can bring you out of that, which is conflict there because you're Gemini, the entertainer. I need to pull into my shell, and God help anyone that tries to go near your family, because you will cut them. There is no way. Having that Cancer moon, very protective, maybe sometimes overprotective. Irene, yours is a bit crazy. So ascendant sun, Jupiter and Mercury in Leo. So you have a Leo moon. I'm glad you're loving it, Angela. It's a shame we missed James. I think he was watching that first video, but of course Mercury retrograde kicked in and stole, I think, him from us. But he will catch up on the video, which you can always watch it again on YouTube or FaceTime, and just moon in Virgo. Okay, so again, you're going to struggle with that overthinking, okay, that analyzing, that wanting to understand, that wanting to have that equation. Okay, and Virgo likes to fight for the underdog. So you guys want things to be fair. Quite a lot of people I know that are Virgos or Virgo moons quite often work for unions or injustice or just will, like I said, fight for the underdog. But that's going to keep you awake at night. So I think, like I said, a very interesting topic. Very easy to find out what your moon sign is and where you can go with it and how you can work with it. And actually, when you get your whole chart done, and over time we'll look at all the different meanings of the different planets and different houses. But the idea here being that, remember, you are not just your sun sign and you are not just your moon sign. We have our rising. Actually, we have all our different ones, and that makes up our whole astrology chart. And that's very interesting. Always our Venus as well, and what our Venus is in is very interesting because that's love, okay, and that's relationships. And so when you look at your Venus and then you look at your moon, you can then kind of bring those guys together and work as this bit of a team. It's such a great way to get to know yourself. I would have to say astrology and some of these, these tips that I'm going to give you over the next couple of months on these shows, and chakras, I put those together and I got to know who I was better, why I make the decisions that I do, an understanding of why sometimes I feel crazy or why I can't handle things, and why I can handle things. We all have our positive and not so positive traits. We all have our strengths and our not strengths, and it's learning what's best. What you got in the fridge, what are you going to cook tonight, what ingredients have you got, what can you rely on in yourself, what do you know you shouldn't rely on. It's always very interesting. Yeah, you do want it to be fair. Loving this. They will have to work. One of the simple tricks you can do, so if you go onto one of the sites like I said, I think it's Cafe Astrology, it's going to give you your chart. So you're going to see these circles and these lines that are very confusing if you don't understand astrology. Aries, you just go to Google and you type in woman with Venus, Aries in Venus, and it's going to give you all the information that you need. So you can kind of be able to start looking into it. But if you can find someone who does astrology or does astrology charts, it's fascinating. It's a lot of paperwork, but it's definitely worth it. I think I had mine done many moons ago, and they were telling me what I was doing at the age of 7, what my parents were like, what impact they had on my life, where I was headed. They also say, and this is just a little bit of interesting information, you are born, okay, you ready? You are born your moon sign and you grow into your sun sign. Okay, so just explain that again. You're born your moon sign and you grow into your sun sign, which would make sense in my case. Born my moon sign, so born the Leo, taking on the shadow side of Leo, so caring too much about what people think, worried about what if I fail, being liked, sort of that was very much me in my younger years, very much me in my 20s, going into my 30s, haven't quite hit my 40s yet, but the whole idea of I need to grow into my sun sign. I need to become the Aries. Now, the Aries is childlike and fun. Aries do not give a shit what people think about them. They're going to do it, and they're going to do it their way. And that's what I'm having to learn in life. Aries are very independent. We don't care whether the kingdom likes us or not. We're going to do what we want. Come with me or stay away. That's up to you. I still know where I'm going. They're very decisive. So I have to grow into being that person. That's kind of like my challenge here. So that's very interesting to have a look at as well. Have a look at your early years, and now it's fantastic. So, going to mention a few things while I'm here. So, I do have coming up on the 2 weeks, actually, the 28th of May, not too far away. I have my intuitive development workshop. You'll also receive a pendulum. That's 3 hours. It's going to be a morning of fun, getting back in touch with that intuition, strengthening those muscles, exercises to be able to do that. And you'll also take home a pendulum and a chart to work with straight away. And I'm going to show you different ways to work with pendulums, not just a yes or no, different ways and different things that we can do with them. Also, coming up on the 12th, I have the high chakra and high tea at Reed's Place. You can get all the information on that on the Threefold Facebook page. But I am going to be holding a chakra workshop on my calendar is on the wall, the 25th of June. Now, this will be a 3-hour workshop. I'm going to teach you all about chakras in those 3 hours. You're going to get the 7 crystals that you need to work with your chakras. You're going to get a chakra cage necklace so you can wear those crystals immediately. You're also going to get a fantastic workbook that I have put together. And that in that 3 hours, I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know about chakras. And, well, just about everything, all the real stuff that you need to know. Chakras will show you patterns. It's going to show you blockages. It's going to show you imprints that are going to be made. It's going to show you why you make the decisions that you do. But what's great about chakras is we can balance them. We can change those imprints, and we can get to know how we can work better with ourselves, how the energy flows. It is probably out of the 15 odd workshops that I teach, it is my favorite to teach. So I've got both those coming up over the next couple of months. And of course, you can get in contact with me for any of those details or to book. I will leave the details in the description above when we have finished this video. So let's get to it. We're going to turn some cards tonight as well. I tell you what's been a bit of a hiccup with this Mercury retrograde, my internet. I'm actually surprised tonight that it's working. I do a lot of online readings. I do a lot of overseas online readings, and I need my internet. So it has been a little bit difficult, but definitely back online now and working fantastic. I do love my online readings. I love all my readings. All right, so I'm going to turn a card. I'm going to turn a card for Zoe first. Let me get my cards out. Oh, I just love talking about moon signs and astrology. I just love talking about astrology. Well, I just love talking, let's be honest. But I do have my cards here. You're welcome, Zoe. Just going to turn one at a time tonight. Yes, please, Sharon. I will turn your card. Let's have a look. But, oh, I nearly spilt me tea. But first, let's have a look. Let's write Sharon's name down. All right, Zoe, this card's for you. And Sharon, thank you for watching me on YouTube. I do love YouTube. It is where I'm going to be doing a lot more of my pop-up shows and my videos. Also, at the moment, I have a giveaway this month. If you go onto my YouTube channel, which is Raven Cooper 333, you know those threes are going to be in there, and you like, subscribe, and comment on any of my Raven Cooper videos, you go into the drawer for, I've got them sitting right here, the Witch's Tarot deck. I absolutely love these cards. Like I mentioned last week, I bought them for myself and couldn't help but buy a second deck because I was like, I've got to give these away to some of these wonderful people that come and visit me on a Tuesday night. It's a fantastic set. The cards are all sealed, but I will be able to send them your way. So if you go onto my YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel so that you get notifications when I'm on, comment 333 and on any of the Ask Raven Cooper videos, and you go into the draw. We're going to be drawing that live on the 31st of this month. Not too far away. All right, Zoe, let's have a look. I am focused. Oh, I'm going to go down here. I really am. Oh, I like this card for you, Zoe. This is the Love Begins card. I really like this. So this is about loving our journey again, loving where we're going. Somebody coming in here to be able to help you do this or to help bring this love into our life. It doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship, but someone new coming in. There's no waters before this. So the love begins. This is kind of when we wake up in the morning and we're like, oh my God, I love my life again. You know, we're starting to get that emotion back and starting to feel things. But a lovely journey about to begin. This can be a new relationship as well. But it's coming together here. It's quite equal, but very, very emotional. All to do with the heart. But that love begins, that new journey. I love that. What a lovely card to have. All right. Just writing down. Yes, Katie, I will pop your name down. Thanks, Irene. Yes, I read for Irene online as well, and Zoe over in England. Like I said, I love my online readings, and time differences really isn't a problem. We sort that out quite easily. All right, Sharon, let's have a look. I'm going to dig down here for you, Sharon. I'm going to dig. Before I even look, I'm like, I feel like I should be turning a red card, but we're not. This is the Hope card here. Sharon, I like this for you. This card here is all about the hope. There's this beautiful gold light in their hands, the things that they're hoping for, but you can't quite see it in here, but there's a little tiny person in that light. So that person that you want to have in your life, that person that you're hoping for is coming your way. You know, we can have all the food and water in the world, but if we don't have hope, we got nothing, man. We need hope. And this is saying to you here, hold on to it because it's coming your way. There's going to be lots of help around you, but someone in particular here that maybe you've been wishing for, definitely coming your way. I like this. The card's a bit love tonight. Ooh, bit love. Let's give this a shuffle. Coming up next, we have Katie. Beautiful Katie. Now that's sunshine. Katie is sunshine. Let's have a look. All right, Katie. Katie, I'm going to go down here. Oh, all right. Yeah, Sharon. Yes, I love your comment there. Very true. It's happening. Yeah. Like I've said, I have worked with this particular deck of cards now for over a decade. That's why it's falling apart, but I absolutely love them. They are my tool. They are something that I use. My intuition is always my first that I go to. And when you get a reading with me, a lot of my readings is about my intuition, and we just use the cards to maybe look at the timeline. But these cards have done tens of thousands of readings now. I've had them so long, and they're just full of that energy. I trust them. I don't like them sometimes because sometimes they give me a hard time, but I do enjoy them. So, Katie, a little bit of not a warning, but just a little bit of something here. This is mental conflict, okay? So just be careful that you're not maybe doing a little bit of that Virgo or Capricorn thing where we can get in our own heads. We're overthinking. This is literally himself in his own head too, decisions makings. But that mental conflict, just that constant chatter going on, pondering, procrastinating, that wondering. So just, it's almost like you might need to tell yourself to shut up for a little while, go for a walk, go and do something you love. I guarantee you, if you take a half an hour break from your troubles and worries, they're going to be there when you get back. You don't need to worry about that. They're not going anywhere, but you can take a break. And also, stopping, like just taking a break isn't stopping forever. Sometimes we just need 5 minutes. But at the moment, Katie, probably having a little bit of trouble just getting that clarity that you would be looking for. Sleep may be an issue. It is a blue card because it's all to do with that throat chakra. So wanting to be able to maybe find someone you can say it out loud to, because sometimes it makes a little bit more sense. Or maybe the conflict is coming from you needing to speak your truth. Maybe telling somebody how you really feel. But just watch yourself. Don't let you get you. Because we just got that little bit of mental conflict at the moment. But like I said, sometimes even being able to just speak your truth, write it down and burn it if that's what it takes, or chatting with a friend, or just finding some clarity. But be kind to yourself right now. You're just in two minds, and that's okay. Angela with her Cancer Sun and her Gemini Moon. Rocking in the corner. No kidding. Is there a bottle of wine big enough? All right, Angela, let's have a look. Angela, I like this card. New beginnings. You are going to close the door to the past and step out onto the world, into the future. She's wearing her heart on her sleeve. That's why she's got that green on. That's you. You're going to do this new beginning with your heart on your sleeve, doing what you love, doing what your heart whispers are asking you for. Don't get me wrong. You've got your spear. Namaste or I cut you. You're very capable of defending yourself. But usually when I see this card, I will say to a client, in 12 months' time, you will have a different job, a different home, a different relationship status. It could be that the relationship improved or it deteriorated and you left, but your relationship status being different car. It's like that whole new beginning, literally, but stepping out into the world. But do please listen to your heart. Wear your heart on your sleeve. Be proud of wearing your heart on your sleeve. It takes a lot of courage in life to do that. To be who you authentically are, to speak your truth. It is not easy, and that's why it normally takes us a lifetime to be able to do it, and why our crown chakra develops, the last one to develop for us all, and that's our connection with our gods, our wholeness, our oneness. But here, Angela, a new beginning. I love this card. Just for an example, I turned this for myself in 2013, and within 3 weeks, my entire world changed. And now I look back and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. But at the time can feel like a little bit of a challenge, but you have all the tools that you need to be able to do this. That's a bit exciting. Mind you, your Gemini Moon going, there's too many decisions to make. What are you talking about? Now I've got to write a list. And your Cancer Sun just worried that the family will be okay and the people that you love will be okay. You got to trust it. Like I just said, I just saw your message there about, you got a lot of nerves, you got a lot going on. And I'm like, yeah, just trust it. Lead with the heart. And, it's inevitable. Things are always going to change. So it's more about just the accepting of that. You aren't where you were 5 years ago. You're not where you're going to be in 5 years' time. It's really hard to be in the moment and to get today right and to know who you are today. And just a reminder to everybody, because you can change your mind. The earth doesn't stop spinning if you do. You can decide that, it's not your favorite color anymore, or you don't want to wear those clothes, or you just want to be who you are. You can change your mind. It's perfectly okay. And don't worry about what anyone else thinks, because to be honest, nobody gives a shit. Just do you, okay? Because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to sleep beside you more than anybody else. All right? You got this. You got this. You keep going. Tamika, you're next. Let's have a look. Tell you what, Mercury retrograde. It's bending us over a little bit. All right, Tamika. And then after this one, I'm just going to draw a general card for everybody for the next week, for everyone to have a look at. And before I turn these next two cards, one for Tamika and one for everybody, just a reminder too, you can email me if you're having a life dilemma, or you have a favorite quote that you would like to let me know about. AskRavenCooper@gmail.com. It says it here up on the screen. You can send those through to me, or you will find my other email addresses and details on the Threefold site. I did get a few emails through today. However, I did explain. They said they were sent at 9 a.m., which I absolutely trust. They didn't actually hit my phone until nearly 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I'd kind of already set the show. However, I have let those people know that I will get back to them as soon as I can. All right, Tamika, let's have a look. Oh, I'm going to go all the way up here for you today, Tamika. My Aries sun sign, not like you this next card. Patience. Isn't it a virtue? Okay, so this is saying to you right now, Tamika, you planted a lot of seeds. You've been doing some hard work. You're making some tough decisions. You've been getting shit done. But now you're sitting there and you're like, well, I did it, but nothing's growing. You know, it's a bit like I did the study, but why don't I have a job? Or I invested in that, why isn't it growing? I gave that person a chance, but I'm not seeing any results. But this is saying to you here, there's a whole lot going on in the background that you can't see. All right, and you're going to look up and you're going to be like, crap, it grew a white lily. It's like all of these things were going on in the background, and I didn't realize being patient was going to bring me what I wanted. But right now it's like, just breathe, just give things a minute, let them sort themselves out. Mercury is in retrograde, so technology is going to break down. Emails are going to get lost. Messages sent, excuse me, to the wrong people. Like I said today, my car's broken down, my shower's leaking, you know, everything's going on. So just here, be patient with yourself, okay? Good things take a little while sometimes. But Tamika, you can do this. I know you can. That job offer, there's a job offer coming up around you. Yes, I can squeeze one more card in for Irene before I do the general meetings, and that will be it for tonight. And next week, I will be posting up what the subject's going to be, or what we're going to be looking at. And like I said, over the next few months, we'll cover a lot more to do with astrology. But I think making sure that we've got that topic to discuss, that we all do our learning here as we go along, is fantastic. It's interesting. It's a bit like the painter's house needs painting, or a bit like the reader coming to the reader for guidance. And you know, that happens a lot when people have their own intuition and what they do, but however they need to go to somebody to get those messages and an outside point of view maybe, or just some reassurance of what's going on in their world. This is the awareness card, and this is saying to you right now, Irene, you're in a brand new direction here. We've got that one, we've got that new movement forward, and things are starting to wrap up. We're starting to come to the end here. We're gonna complete this cycle. But what this says here is awareness. You don't need to ask me. If you listen to your gut instinct, you know. Also, I'm not sure about the question that you sent me in the email. And I do remember what it was. And you did have a question about accommodation. And I just want to let you know, I don't think the option that you mentioned in the email may come up, but there is someone who's going to offer you, well, it will, but it's going to be about 2 weeks away. But there is going to be someone else that is going to offer you an opportunity. It may be an unusual kind of living arrangement, but I believe it will work. So maybe keep an eye out for that as well. But awareness. You know, he has this look of being content. So he's very happy with where he's going. He knows deep down everything's going to be okay. But that doesn't help our anxiety today. So it's just saying here, trust in the universe. Got this new direction. Things are going to come in. But just be aware of also what's going on around you. Oh, no worries, Katie. I love that. I'm glad. Oh, I'm glad you guys learned stuff. Like I said, I could have talked about moon signs for another 3 hours. It's a whole workshop. I absolutely love them. But again, if you have questions, send them to me so that I can answer them next week. If you think about a question about your moon sign during the week, I'm happy to go back and cover that subject a little bit for you. But I do really want to jump ahead with subjects. So if there's subjects you would like to hear about, let me know. You can comment on this underneath this video on YouTube or Facebook. And if you comment under YouTube on this video and you haven't already and you put 333, you will go into the draw for the cards. But let me know the subjects you would like to have a look at as well. All right, this is a general card for everybody. Let's have a look at our message for the week. Even I have to pay attention to this one. Okay. Where are we all going? Smile. We got this far. Got this far in life. Right, we're going to take this one. Ooh, interesting card. Okay, red for the base chakra. Home, work, money, security. Okay, that's what we're kind of focused on with this card. And this here, you're very happy, Irene. You're very welcome, Irene. This one here is red because it's about all of those things. But what he's doing here is a material harvest. So he's coming along and he's going to harvest his crop. He's going to have a look at everything he's got. What's his worth? What money has he got available to him? What resources does he have available to him? And he's going to take those and he's going to reinvest them. He's going to plant new crops. So it's about material harvest. And I know a lot of us right now, everything has gotten more expensive. The cost of living is ridiculous. And we're having to sit there and kind of go, what have we got and where can I invest it? This doesn't necessarily have to be money. This could also be study. You're like, okay, if I take that little bit of money that I've harvested over there that I've made from a part-time job or a small win, or maybe it was, something that you got from the government, and you're like, I can take that little bit, I can harvest it, and I can go and plant it over here, and I can grow something that's going to bring me more. So a really good week to have a look at, what have you really got? What's really in front of you? Not what you're wishing for, not what you're hoping for, not what you had, what you got today. What can you do today to move forward? Really good card for this week, so I look forward to hearing it all from you next week. 9 here because he's wrapping things up. He's harvesting, he's bringing it, and he's going, right, where am I going to plant that next crop? So we might find this week we are a little bit more drawn to getting a plan for homework, money, and security as to where we're moving forward from here. Great card. Good card. And I think we should all maybe just take a little bit of advice from it. I think a lot of us for a while now, ever since, the pandemic and life, mind you, we all had problems and worries before the pandemic and they're here after. But we were all kind of just that boat on the water, and we were all just kind of like running with the tide and just trying to stay afloat. And this card is really about, okay, you know what? It's time to put the sail up again. It's time to get a direction. It's time to know where we want to move forward. So definitely plans around homework, money, and security, and where we're going with that and where we're going to invest that. I do hope that was helpful. Thanks, guys, for coming along tonight and having a chat with me. I've loved it as always. I look forward to next week. Like I said, I'll be leaving up on Facebook what next week's topic is going to be, so that if you do need to do some homework like this week, finding out your moon sign, or if you do have suggestions what you would like, I would love to do a crystal night and talk about crystals and what you can do with them, how you can use them, what some of the common crystals you probably got at home that you can use in different ways. I want to talk about auras. I want to talk about dreams. I want to talk about, even how you can develop those, that intuition. And also, I think I did mention, don't forget the workshops that I have coming up, but you will see them on the threefold page. All right, guys, this has been fantastic as always. Your comments have been amazing. Thank you so much. I walk away from this just absolutely buzzing because the energy is so high. You make my evening and you make this possible. So thank you so much. And I will talk to you all again very, very soon. Bye. Bye. Mwah. Bye.